Hello, and welcome to the Awakening Spiritual Gifts broadcast. So today we're coming in a few different places on Facebook as well as our YouTube channel. So welcome to all of you who are watching, and I'm so glad you're here. It's always such a joy to be able to connect with you each week. So I'd like to start with the energy of the day or energy of the week, but I also had oh my goodness, I meant to have this pulled up ahead of time. I had someone message in and send me an anonymous or ask to be anonymous message thing here. Okay, I'll find that in a minute. But in the meantime, let's just go and lean into the energy of the day or the energy of the week. If you are new here, or if you have not participated before, you are welcome to ask any questions that you have, whether it be about spiritual gifts, new gifts arriving, experiences you're having, any maybe struggles or blocks, or even you could even just ask for a general read. This is the purpose of this really is just to give, it's just a way that I like to serve others and just to be able to give back. And I am by no means an all-knowing expert or guru, right? We're all our own experts. We all have our own compass. We get our divine information from our source. And so what I hope to at least do is just to provide another witness to whatever it is that you're experiencing, or to share with you what it is that I'm seeing or what I am intuitively picking up. And it could be like a little nugget that you can take and you can put it into your own discernment process and see what truth is there for you and what's not. Nothing brings me greater joy than to help remind people of who they are and why they're here, and to kind of like light a fire in a person's soul, and just to remind them that they have all these gifts and abilities in themselves and in their own identity. So if you're new here, that's all you got to do is you can just ask a question. You can put it in the comments. Also, a little bit of just information as well. You are free to ask before, during, or after the show. So even if you're watching this replay, or let's say you have something you'd like looked at and you have a question, but maybe you don't want to have it be public, you want it to be anonymous, you have the ability to do that. Or if you're watching the replay and you want to be on the next show and you just can't make it live, you can send in a message, you can send in an email, you can write it in the comments, and we will capture that question and get it on the next time. So we give you lots of ways to connect and give us time and abilities to serve you. So good. Hello. I love also a lot of interaction in the comments. So make sure you're commenting and like, hello, how are you? Let's interact. Nothing makes it more fun, right? And it feels like we're in person versus just over the computer. And I also love to know like where you're watching from. This broadcast has gone worldwide. We have had people all over the world, not just in America or where we're at. So, or where I'm at. It comes in from all over the world. So, all righty, let's go into, I'm just going to kind of touch on some of the energy of the day and what's coming in. I touched on a little bit of this I have a Facebook group that's free, and it's just like a little community there. And if you're not part of that, you are welcome to join it. So that's a free community. And then I also have got the membership group, the Intuition Gym. And I was in there yesterday. So if anyone's watching from either one of those places, there's a little bit of review or a reminder of what some of the energies are doing. And if you're not part of either of one of those communities, I invite you to join us. Here's our free one. And then the membership one is super easy. You can just go to theintuitiongym.com/join. We have weekly coaching, a library vault of content, an amazing community, and it's only like $33 a month. The price is not going to be up much longer, but it is there. Okay, let's, so there's a little bit of review if you watched some of my broadcasts in those groups. But All right. So we have had a ton of energies lately around sifting out things that it's like bringing things to the surface, digging out any of the old stuff that we've gone through, or maybe that we've thought that we have even worked through. And it's just bringing a lot of things to the surface to be done with it, to give you the opportunity to move through it, to clear it, to heal it. And then to bring you to the next phase. This is happening quickly. We are not given a lot of time to go through a lot of this. So you might be experiencing things where it feels like you're just getting hit with one thing after another after another. It's like, oh, I can barely breathe because you're just getting boom, boom, boom. And this is all part of the energy of the collective and the planet that we're experiencing. And so we're getting our collective and then also our personal experiences where things are coming up, a lot of movement and change. And so it's when I'm seeing it, there's a lot of, it looks like a wind or like a watery wind type energy that's pushing us along very, very quickly, like making us move and change and shift and just move forward. But then at the same time, it's like bringing stuff up and there's not a lot of time to dwell on things. So it's like move up, bring things up and then move on quickly. And it's like, okay, one after another. So one of the first things that I recommend during this time period is to really get a practice of breathing and breath work. Breathing is one of the most amazing ways to take us out of that stress mode and that high intensity fight, flight, or freeze, right? Like the like so stressful, so scary, all these big things, like just to remind you to just take those deep breaths, get a practice of breathing, integrate it into like a meditation practice, or even just set a timer on your watch where you could just be reminded to just pause for a moment and reground your breathing into a more, a deeper breath going all the way down to your diaphragm and relax and feel it go and relax your body. This is going to help you through these transitions that are energetically going on right now. We also are seeing there's a ton of support. Like on the other side, there's a lot of like angelic and divine support that is loving and encouraging and talent, like cheerleaders. We got a lot of cheerleaders on the other side. Like, you can do it. You're doing great. Like a lot of supportive, loving, divine energy. And like I said, like angels and loved ones also on the other side that are just supporting us and cheering us on. The energy today, like it still has some of that same pattern of like the wind, kind of watery wind look, like it's moving things along. But the pattern today has shifted a little bit where it's looking like it's kind of circling down and then like it's circling down and then going back and then it's going forward again. What this is telling me is circling down energy. It's like gathering. It's going up and gathering any of your emotions, thoughts, things that are coming up. It's like, let's go down deep, let's pick it up, and let's move forward. So it's kind of like this woo energy, right? You're traveling along, woof, move forward, get it, and go forward again. So this is a great time to let things bubble up and then move forward and let them just pass through you. And it can feel scary. There's a lot of leaps of faith that people are taking right now. So if you're feeling that leap of faith energy, it's going to feel a little scary. And remember that the breathing is important, but also to understand that our brains are wired to try to keep us safe and to try to make us to go back to what was safe before. Being safe is not necessarily what's best for us, though. And so that's where a leap of faith comes in. And sometimes you got to baby step through some scary things in order to take those leaps of faith and to get the optimal level of growth and ascension possible. Really, that's the word that came in. It's that up and out. Like we're going to ascend to higher frequencies, higher vibrations, higher ways of living, higher laws. Like we're just elevating right now. And so all of this is necessary. We got to have some of the purification, right? To get to go to the next place. So, all right, well, let's dive in. Felicia, I'm so glad you're here and you've asked the first question here on the broadcast. And so I love this. I love to see your beautiful face. Thanks for asking. Okay, let's look at a general read. You're feeling stuck. Okay, that's a great place. Oh, actually, I'm going to leave that on because you can. It's short enough you can see my face too. All right, Felicia, let me just check out the energy for you. Also, too, just to let people know, especially new people watching, when I'm looking at a person's energy, when you're asking, that's giving permission. I do not just go willy-nilly look at people's energy. I can, but I don't because it's honoring a person's agency. I feel like it's a violation unless a person asks. So by asking, it is giving permission, and I will answer. Sometimes I can feel when there's something private and I'll kind of like avoid it. But I'll just kind of answer in a way that hopefully is most beneficial to you. All right, Felicia. Okay. Sorry, yawn. Sometimes energy makes me yawn. It's not a tired thing. All right. So what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing some energy from your eyes. It goes from your eyes to your heart to your mouth. And the eyes are like gazing down and almost instead of like looking outward, like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's really reflective. It's looking down and inward to more toward the heart. It feels like there's some emotional components in your life that maybe you haven't fully felt or addressed, or maybe they're just heart wounds that are big enough that are just, it's not healed yet. And so you're down and you're kind of looking at this ache or the heartache, whatever these emotions are in the heart, it's still just reflecting and focusing down on that. And then the way that it moves up to the throat is it feels, it actually maybe even just feels like maybe some crying. At first I thought it might be words, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it has to talk a lot like words coming out of the throat and the mouth, but it's like there's just some things that want to be expressed from the heart, and whatever that looks like. It could be crying, it could be some few words, it could be just listening to some music and just letting it out in whatever way that comes, whether it be singing something or just feeling the music and letting the emotions come out. But there's definitely some emotions there that are still just kind of, I would say that's more keeping the stuck energy, is it's just not fully healed yet. And it's wanting to just look at it and feel it and express it. Oh, and I love this. Okay, thank you. I love the feedback here. That's true. And I'm trying to heal, but not successful. So my throat chakra is blocked. Yeah. Well, I would say, yeah, it just is. It's occupied. Your throat chakra is occupied with this energy of the heart. Like it's waiting to be expressed from there. It doesn't necessarily look like a block per se. It just is like occupied. Like I say, like if it's if there's a faucet and water is running one way, then it doesn't really want water to, like, something else to come through it. Like it's already occupied with whatever else is coming out or wanting to come out. Okay, let's see. Since you have expressed that there's some healing that's not been successful, let's look at that and see if there's something that we could, like a clue that we could give you for helping to heal that heart wound and the emotions there. Okay. Okay, sorry, just a second. I'm checking all of the energy here. I'm like starting with the eyes, kind of following the flow, seeing what direction it's going, seeing what would help it move. Interestingly enough, a lot of times I usually give more feedback and some ideas about like moving forward on how to heal. For some reason, yours wants to go backward to heal. Like it really wants to go, like for instance, like you could include a journaling activity where maybe you write out a timeline of events, and maybe you've got to have some kind of closure and saying goodbye, and maybe there's some kind of like you write a letter or write like an account, and then you do something symbolic. It could be burning it. It could be shredding it. It could be releasing it into the water and watching it float away somewhere. So something like that could work. You could also do some kind of visual there about walking through your life. It almost feels like just like going backward and identifying some of these heart wounds, doing some like going backwards, and even some like inner child work. That's really powerful, right? Go talk to your little girl inside of you and talk to her about what she thinks and feels, and how your adult version would help her process that. There's some other like inner child stuff that you could do. I mean, I'm kind of limited on a like a coaching thing here, with timing and stuff. Like I can't go into like tons and tons of specifics. I'm just kind of giving you some ideas so that maybe you have some tools, or if you need more tools, like I'm happy to help. You can message me, or the Intuition Gym membership. We've got we do a coaching call every single week where we dive in more in depth. But hopefully you can have those, can give you some ideas on how, and maybe some ideas and some tools that you could look at. But it does feel like it wants to go backwards. It's like it goes backwards, really inward, more the past, in order to close it up, heal it, bring some closure, bring some healing. And then once that is done, then it's like, and then you can move forward again, and you can leave that in the past and just be like, and now I'm free from that. So it kind of brings it back. Like you're traveling forward, you're going to want to travel backwards. And then as you address whatever healing that is, it can actually catapult you forward. So instead of feeling like, oh, I don't want to go backwards again, just remember it can catapult you forward. Once you're released, it's like that principle, like if you think a bowstring or something, like if you pull something backwards, and then you let it go forward, going backwards can sometimes propel you farther in the forward. And so it's that type of energy. So if you're just like, no, I'm trying to move forward, don't forget that action could be huge. And I would actually just literally start chronologically. Maybe you just start right now, however old you are, and then go backwards. Go to last year, go to the year before that, go to the year before that, and start just like doing this regression of acknowledging things, and then see what you can heal, acknowledge, clear up, and then move forward. So I hope that gives you, you have been doing the work. That's awesome. Yeah, from here, I probably would have to like do a full session with you or something to look, to get really specific. But the key there too is also just to find it, heal it, or like identify it, and then also like once it's healed, and then to then let it go and allow yourself to go forward. There could be some trauma in there. Trauma patterns are really complex. That's where you definitely want to work with somebody to help walk through some of those things. So sending you lots of love, lots and love as you're processing that. So thanks for asking though. And please let me know how, if some of that gives you some ideas, maybe ponder on it a little bit more, see what you can do. And then I'd love to hear how it helps. So thank you for asking that. Love it. All right. Let me go to the comments. I love this little software that I have. It's kind of handy. It pulls all the comments from the different areas that are being broadcast. So sometimes I have to go through and look at the comments here. And so if you're new, if you haven't asked anything yet, all you have to do is just put it in the comments below. Super duper easy. And then I had someone asked me if I could do something anonymous or answer a question anonymously. So I am going to do that here. I couldn't find it at first, and then I remembered exactly where it was. Okay, so I'm not going to go into depth on what she said because, like I said, this is anonymous. This is about betrayal by someone that they trusted, and not only just betrayal, but this individual turned out to be just extremely harmful to them. So I'm going to look at this, and it's a little bit of a paragraph. Sometimes it's a little reading. Okay, so I'm going to look at this, and we're just going to, I was going to give like an anonymous name. I don't know, we'll just say my friend on the anonymous post. Let's look at this for you. First of all, I can see the deep betrayal in that heart. It looks as if a spear. That's a way. I'm like, it's not an arrow, but it looks like something just like right into the chest. Like you got a big spear, an energetic spear sticking out of your chest. And it hit with such velocity and such force that it actually, energetically, like stuck you to the wall. So it's like you've been pinned by this up against the wall. So I can definitely see that it is bringing up some feelings of feeling like trapped or stuck. I can't go anywhere. It's just like I'm just there hanging on the wall with this spear of a betrayal. It does feel very like it did feel very and I'm only looking at the energy coming in at you. I don't know the other person's intention because I'm not looking at the other person's energy right now. But for you, it does feel very like targeted, very, very targeted and specific. Like so let's look at see how you can move forward and clear some of that out. Okay, it feels like it's actually bumping into some leftover trauma. Could be some of your own, but it also includes, I do see some generational strands. It's bumping up against some traumas with not so fun energies or memories that are in your genes. It feels as if someone was pinned down and like getting beat up or getting some horrible things happen to them. And it's just like pinned down and like, no, I don't want to have this happen to me. So it feels very triggering and very reactive. The trauma, like it's just taking over the brain, like almost like you couldn't see straight or think straight because it's in that moment of trauma. Like, can't get away. Let's see here. Let's see if we can. Sometimes there's also this is kind of a deeper thing that I don't go into often, but there are energetic, for lack of better words, markings that a person can have. Sometimes they can even pass generationally down. But these energetic markings, let's say that you have been a victim of something, then it can almost create this energy of that you have been a victim. And then there's almost like, I almost think of it like an energetic branding. Like if you brand an animal, it's like an energetic brand on you that kind of broadcasts this message of you can pick me, you can violate me, you can abuse me. Because I have been abused and I've been like marked with it. And it's no fun with that, but there is something about this that's passing down where it feels like there has been this marked for being targeted, I guess is a better word, that you have been targeted. And now there's other things showing up in your life where you're also feeling targeted by other situations and other people, and it's amplifying that. Let's see. Let me just tap in here. I want to help find a solution for you. So it's not just telling you the yuck part of it without some hope and some light. Okay. There is power in agency and declarations. Okay. So when I say agency, there's power in choice. There's power in claiming what is rightfully yours as a divine child of God, or your divine, like being connected to just the fact that you were created, you have this divinity within you, and and you have these gifts available to you, an abundance available to you. You are not meant to live in bondage or to be marked by this. That is not what you were born to be and do and be able to have. So and so you have the right, the birthright, to claim these higher blessings, to claim that divinity and the abundance that is available to you and that is given to you just by existing, just by your birthright. It is yours. So when I use the word very specifically to say claim, okay, like just this is a higher level, like activating your agency. And it's even beyond just saying like, oh, I receive it. I receive it. Yes, it's good to receive it. We want to have our receivers open, but sometimes our receivers must be open by claiming it, by choosing it, and by declaring that it is so. If you notice, like the words claiming and declaring have a little more oomph to the word, right? So what I'm talking about here is that sometimes if something tries to keep you bound and keep you tied up and it's coming at you at this level, then you better claim it and declare it and put your foot down at this level. Okay. Sometimes it calls for, like, we always want to be, I mean, like, it's common for us to always want to be like, let's just be soft and lovely and just speak loving and kind and sweet and love and light all the time. But guess what? Sometimes love and light can be firm. Sometimes love and light can be intense. And it can have the fire of God like moving through that, right? It doesn't mean that like it's a lot of times with healing, and especially doing light workers, and if we're doing healing stuff, oftentimes we get stuck in this mode where we just want to do it very peacefully and light. That can bring a lot of healing, especially if you've had a lifetime of a lot of like firm doing and masculine energy. Stepping into the softer realms and the softer frequencies and feminine energies of healing can be really powerful. But sometimes it calls, if you are feeling, especially the victim and the feeling like these things coming down at you, then it is time to stand up and say, no, you cannot. You do not have power here. You cannot cross this line with me. This boundary is so firm in me that I claim that I am free. I claim from now on that you cannot get to me. I love this. Natalie's like, I love the fire. Yeah, that fire comes in. You got to feel this fire when you're talking about this stuff. So some of these energy markings and people picking on you or feeling like there's predators and being picked on, it requires you to not be afraid. That is the key. To not be afraid of letting your fire out. Letting your voice be heard. And you don't have to go run around telling everybody, no, me. Like this is, I'm talking about a very personal, very energetic stance and position that you hold. It's like you step into your own, you cast away and reject any of those things that were once holding you. You reject that person that has been predatory to you. You reject the markings. You reject any future things. It's like, no, I'm not going to take this anymore. This is not part of my operating system. And I'm going to step in and claim and declare my sovereignty. I am free from those things. And then you let that internal fire, that good fire, the fire that brings strength and courage and light and warmth and determination, and to remind you and to let who you are just out and to hold your land. Okay. If you have had, if you have had people crossing over into your land, they are trespassing. And so it's time for you to hold your view and hold your stance in a very loving way, but it can also be in a very firm way, because you're claiming and declaring what it is that you stand for, who you are, and what is allowed on your land and not allowed on your land. So I hope that helps you my dear anonymous friend that sent me that message. And I want to thank you for actually asking that question, because as that was coming through, that is a great, like a really, really good reminder for many of us. Like, how many times do we just have things happen to us, and or things just happen, or life just happens, or how many times do we let some of our guard down with saying yes when we want to say no, giving some kindness and then allowing someone to take advantage of our kindness, right? This is a common thing. Like, many of us have this, that we face sometimes. One time I had really powerful experience where I had thought I had done years, by this time I had done years and years and years of work on myself, thinking that I had, now was able to verbalize more what I desired and boundaries and all that kind of stuff, and thought I was doing pretty good. But this one day I was driving home from somewhere, and I was just like, I'm kind of not feeling super awesome. What is this? I kind of feel a little yucky. And it was just like this unsettled feeling in my heart and my chest. And I was like, what is this? And then I sat with it and I was like, oh, I feel like I did something wrong. I was like, well, what did I do wrong? Like, I didn't really do anything wrong. What was it? And actually, where I had been, I was doing a lot of service for someone, and I was helping someone, but it actually what I acknowledged was that it felt like they were taking advantage of me a little bit. And there were things that I was helping them with or doing for them that I didn't want to do, that didn't feel aligned or didn't feel like it honored my time, my schedule, what I wanted, right? I don't remember all the specifics of what was going on in my life on that day, but I remember the feelings of I was violated. I allowed the violation because of not speaking up. And so I did feel like I was doing something wrong. But this little voice inside me, I kind of tapped into it. And as I was listening and feeling what was going on, and I heard my inner self say, if you don't protect me, who will? Okay. And it was like at that moment, it was like that other person did not do anything wrong. The things that they were asking me to help with, that was within their scope to ask. And it was totally okay. It's great that they asked. I'm glad that they did. But if I am not honoring myself, and I'm not listening, and I'm not sharing when it's time to say no, or if I'm not expressing what is allowed, what isn't allowed, what I can do, what I can't do, then that's on me, because no one else can protect that inner me. No one else will know when that boundary has been crossed or when I have been violated, except for me. And so if I don't protect myself, who will, right? Because if I'm allowing those violations, guess what? Other people don't know they're there, and they think that that's okay. And they're going to continue to do those violations because they don't even know it's a violation, because I haven't communicated it, right? Wow, I kind of felt like there's a little bit more boundaries to share right now, and I'm hoping this is serving you guys. So if it is, I would love some comments. Is this resonating? Is there some good stuff here for you? Because it feels like, say this, Martina, I'm going to say one more thing about boundaries. Because in this, and so I'm wondering if there's just people watching about boundary that are needing some help with this. So there's some interesting stuff that goes around with boundaries and teachings about how to hold boundaries and to express a boundary. And some of the teachings that are going around are actually a little harmful because of the way that the people can sometimes communicate boundaries in a way that is almost pushing over the other person too. Right? Have you guys seen this? Have you seen this before or seen this? It's almost like you have to turn into a sassy mean girl or sassy mean boy, whatever. It's like you have to no, this is my boundary and I'm going to hold it and it just comes across as bleh, yucky, right? It's like a little, gotta hold my boundary. And so I've seen this pattern repeated. And I've actually seen and experienced firsthand some people who think that they're communicating a boundary when they're not. They don't communicate it, but all of a sudden they just come down with these either they withdraw or they withhold any kind of intimacy or connection. They just like, no, this is the way it has to be. They don't communicate. It's just boom, like a wall comes down because they have a boundary that is expected to be upheld. Have you guys ever experienced this? It's kind of interesting when it does. But really, when they do some of those things, they're actually activating some of these emotional abuse tactics. Emotional withholding and withdrawal and even stonewalling and gaslighting can all happen sometimes if someone is exerting a boundary in an unhealthy way. And then, so when we, so there's some steps. In fact, I'm going to pull some of these up. I've written them out that are just like some really good ways to communicate boundaries. Because what happens a lot of times is so many of us want to be nice and we want to communicate a boundary, but we want to do it in a way where we're not like this. Like we're not wanting to be mean. We're not wanting to be like, And so because we don't want to be like that, then we don't know how to set these boundaries. We don't know how to communicate a boundary. So I've got these few steps. But I also just wanted to clarify this one thing that's really, really valuable to understand. So it's really good to understand the difference between being passive, being aggressive, being passive aggressive, and being assertive. Okay. So just to give you some basic definitions of that, being passive means that you are allowing, like the rights of someone else or what other people are wanting or doing are crossing over into you. Okay. So, and so it's like you're laying down to let them kind of come into your space. Being aggressive is you pushing into over someone else, right? So it's kind of like the two polar opposites there. Passive aggressive means just basically like a combination. Like I'm laying down, but in another subtle way, I'm exerting control, like on that. So, but it's kind of all is part of the same, right? It's one person is pushing over the rights and desires of another person. Okay. Whether you're the receiver or the one doing it. And sometimes we can do both. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times if you've been passive, you're kind of feeling beat down. I've done this. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, no, wait a minute. I'm tired of being a pushover. And then all of a sudden I become an aggressor because I'm trying to enforce mine and it's squashing someone else. So that was like a learning experience. And I've seen this countless times. Or someone who's being aggressive, trying to learn to be softer. And then all of a sudden they think that they have to become passive and let that. It's neither one of those. Assertive is where we're trying to be. And that is where we honor and respect the other person's as well as respecting and holding our own. So it's like you got yours and I've got mine. And it's like they can coexist at the same time. Even if they are contradictory and even if they're kind of opposite, then you can enter into conversations of, well, how can my boundaries and how can I be upheld and how can you be upheld? And you can start to brainstorm and come up with some ideas that both can feel honored in that moment. A very basic and kind of funny example of this could be, let's say a husband and wife. One like loves to squeeze the toothpaste all the way out and just mangle the toothpaste tube. And then the other person, and maybe that's the aggressor, right? They just do it this way. Well, the passive person has just been putting up with it. They actually love a very neatly squeezed tube of toothpaste. It's neatly folded and everything, but they just let the other squeeze out. Okay. And so then all of a sudden, so finally the neatly squeezed toothpaste spouse is like, you know what? I really don't like it when you do this. Can you change or, can you not do that? And so then it becomes like this, like, well, which one is going to get the way they like to do it and which one is going to not do it? Okay. Yes, absolutely. One of them could change. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but for this example, I'm kind of giving to show an example of a new possibility. A new possibility could be like, well, here's each person. Let's say they get really stubborn in their stance. No, I don't want to neatly roll the tube. I just want to squish the heck out of it. That's the way I like my toothpaste. The other person's like, well, I really like my toothpaste neatly folded. Okay, great. So then how can my toothpaste get neatly folded and how can my toothpaste get squeezed out? Here's an option. You can both get your own tube of toothpaste. Okay. That could be a solution where it's like, okay, both of us have our needs met. It's not one or the other. Like so many times it could be an easy answer. It doesn't have to be a big complex one. Okay. So I felt like that was a little, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent, but hopefully that kind of makes sense, is like to get, how can we both have our needs met? How can we both feel honored and respected? Sometimes it can be just a twist and like a new thought pattern. Okay, so here's some fun, or here's the 5 tips for the boundaries. Number 1 is just to know that those boundaries are healthy. Number 2, like it's healthy, it's good. It's actually a way to serve you and to serve others when you do those boundaries. Number 2, you got to be honest about what you need. And that comes with being able to express that, right? But to be honest, well, actually, no, this honest steps is honest with yourself, to be able to listen to yourself, to be honest about it. And then also you can listen to what your partner needs. And then you can also designate, like if there's some times you got to have a little bit of space, it doesn't have to feel offensive. It's like, hey, I got to take a little time and space to think through something. It doesn't have to be offensive to do so. Like it can be very honoring. And the 5th one is to communicate the boundaries with respect. Okay. Communication is key. And whether that be, if it's a little scary to do it in person, then you write it. You find a way to communicate it in other ways and then practice speaking up. And so you can just grow and mature in that sense. So anyway, so that, I am very grateful again to that anonymous person that wrote in on this. I felt like some really good information for many of us. Really, really good. And thank you. Okay, good. I'm loving it. I'm loving some feedback here. Good to hear. Thank you, Natalie. We had Monica. We're here on YouTube. Great information. Thank you. Mitchell, this made me laugh. You go, girl. Thanks. Yes. Good stuff. It's just something that we all got to kind of learn and navigate in life, right? When we got relationships, we are trying to figure out who we are and what we even want, how to listen to our heart, how to listen to what it is that's inside of us. And it's like we grow up kind of believing we're a certain way or being told that we're a certain way. And then it seems like we spend the rest of our life unraveling some of those things to really reveal who we are. So, all right, let's do. Okay, Natalie, let's do a general read for you, my dear. Go to this one. Okay, let's see what comes up for you today, Natalie. Okay, so this is kind of fun. So I'm seeing there's I'm seeing some energy in your eyes, and it's kind of a little bit of like looking around going, what do I do? What do I do next? What do I do? And it feels like there's things that maybe you're doing and it's like, no, that's not really satisfying. And it just feels like, well, I thought I would want to maybe read this book. No, I don't want to read this book. Or, oh, maybe I want to watch this. No, I don't want to watch this. So it feels like just kind of like, what do I want to do? But there's a little bit of an energy behind the scenes that is kind of sparking, if you will. It's like this energy going, oh, me, pick me. It's kind of a fun little energy in the background. And that is an energy of play. So I would like to just ask you or invite you, what can you do today to play? To do something a little bit more, maybe a little more spontaneous, a little bit more lighthearted, a little more fun. What makes you laugh? What could you do that's like a little bit, maybe even silly or playful? There's a part of you that's just like, please, let me out. I want to play. I want to have fun. I want to laugh. Oh, I love laughter. Laughter is just like a warm hug to my soul. And I feel like laughter and some play is something that your soul is asking for right now. So what, heck, I mean, it could be even like a favorite funny movie, or, It could be music and dancing in your kitchen. It could be going somewhere. Maybe like driving and getting like your favorite ice cream cone or something. It's like your little inner child. Yeah, totally. Oh, I love this, Natalie, that you did this. I was actually about to mention like coloring, but maybe it's not structured. Maybe it's like grabbing like a coloring book. I actually have a Wonder Woman coloring book, and oh, get this. Does anybody remember She-Ra? Come on, in the 80s, like there's He-Man and there's She-Ra. Okay, I found a She-Ra coloring book from when I was a little girl, and it's hardly colored in, and so I still have my She-Ra coloring book. It's so awesome. So yeah, like something like that. Yeah, music. I love it. Look at that. Look at your intuition. See, you already know. I'm just echoing. I am just a witness, a second witness that you've already picked up on it. But yeah, something inside is just like, just play, do something playful and fun today. And just follow it, almost like it's a trail that you could follow. Going, okay, this one makes me really happy. This one's really fun. What else can I do that's going to just kind of, like I said, the spark. It's like I just see this little, and like I said, it's kind of that inner child saying, hey, me, pick me. I want to play. I want to do stuff. And so follow that little voice and that spark. So fun stuff. I love it. And of course, and then let me know how that goes for you. That's super fun. As always, I love to hear how it's resonating, right? I love to hear what's coming up for you and if it helps. So love it, love it. All right. Some good questions today. Appreciate you guys. And okay, let me see. I'm going through my comments. Okay. Oh, we just had one pop in. Okay, Lacey. Hi. That's a beautiful name, Lacey Violet. That's cool. Yeah, let's do a general read for you. See what comes up. All right. Okay, so Lacey, what I'm seeing around you right now, I'm seeing you, it's like, okay, I see your energy like here, and then I'm seeing some of your to-do list things out in front of you. And I'm kind of seeing your awareness and your eyes, your energy kind of focused. It feels like maybe there's just a lot of to-do things right now. Like maybe there's just a grind or a flow of just, oh, I just got to do this routine. And it just feels like this empty routine, like you're just kind of going through the motions, and then you're a little bit pulled back from it, kind of feeling a little like, where's the meaning in this? Or what can I do that's more like matched with who you are and what you want to do? Because it's just right now, it's just kind of in this grind. Now, I do see that you have a little baby in your picture. If you've still got a baby, and if she's still young like that and you have the young children, that right there can bring some of that energy with, I'm just doing my daily thing, right? We got to just wake up, feed the baby, and or even like young kids, you got your naps, you got your this, you got your routine. If you work, then you got to add work in there. I mean, like there's just so much routine energy. And so I would just even maybe take a look and if you can, even like make a list of like what things bring joy to your soul, what things like spark some of that happiness inside of you. What are some of your dreams and passions and things that you love to do, or an interests? Is it music? Is it art? Is it expression of some kind? Like, what is it that you love to do? And no matter, even if you have to still continue some of these routine things in your life, oh goodness, a 1-year-old and 6 other kids. Yes. Okay. So then the question becomes, how can you still do all this, lots of kids, a lot of that routine stuff, and still be able to listen to your heart and still do some things that bring you like joy? Sometimes it might be scheduling time away, making sure you get some time to yourself. But more often than not, it's like, how can you sprinkle it in the daily routine of it? Is there music you could play loudly? Is there while they're playing, you could put on some of your favorite movie, like a favorite movie, or can you dance and move or something with them nearby? Like whatever it is that you enjoy and that helps to bring you some things. If you have a business or if you write, can you just tote a notebook around with you and be doing things while they're also doing things. So it's not just neglecting you, it's how can you sprinkle it in so that you're still you and you're still able to express that as much as possible. And I just want to give you credit too. Like it is a tricky situation. You got to get a little creative. And sometimes the sprinkles will just feel like, oh, that's not enough. But if you sprinkle enough of them, it can start to feel like you're getting a little bit of a quench. And then make sure that you're also getting some time to yourself away from kids, and how can you make that work? So definitely listen to that. Oh yeah, right there. And like you said, I've been painting and love it, but I feel guilty too. Yeah, no guilt. It is literally like you cannot exhale, you cannot give breath if you don't inhale breath, right? So by giving and not receiving, it's like you're going because you're not taking your breath in. You've got to inhale. You've got to receive. You will be a better, you could be a better mother. You'll be able to have more energy, more life force, more anything to share when you're full. And then you can just exude more because you receive first, right? It's that beautiful ebb and flow. So good reminders, man. I feel like anyone who's a mother, especially with a lot of kids and caretaker of any kind, really has to kind of remember that whole oxygen mask first. You've got to have yours, because then what happens if you're depleted? Then it leaves everybody. Then you know what I mean. It kind of feels like that heaviness of like, oh, if I'm depleted, then makes you grumpier, less energy, less joy. And all those things that when you have joy and when you have energy, then you can give it more and they enjoy your company more and you can be a better person, better mom. Like really, this could apply to all of us. But yes, it is such a good reminder. So that's what's coming up for you on that, is to just sprinkle out who you are into your daily routine. And then that way too, it can bring more of alignment, and your routine and who you are married and you're the one and the same, versus feeling like it's like, here's you, or actually my hands are backwards. I don't know. But anyway, here's you. And then here's the routine. It feels very disconnected right now. So integrate those as much as possible. And also, I just wanted to kind of end on a little bit of an impression and an idea that came to me the night. So it wasn't yesterday, but it was the night before. I've had a couple of people reach out, and I do have a list of people to help and to serve and to work with and do sessions with. But I had this feeling that there were some that wanted to have a little bit more connection. I don't want to say hand holding because that sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of let's say link arms. That's a better word. It's like someone who really wants to link arms and just needs a little bit of a little bit more, not just like a one-time session, or they need a little bit more than what these free things give, or a little bit more than even what my membership provides. They need some one-on-one, a little bit of arm holding assistance for the next 4 weeks. So I was thinking just for the next month, giving an opportunity to only 4 people. 2 of these are already gone because I announced this yesterday and 2 are already gone. So I've only got 2 left for people that want to who would like to take this opportunity. But what this would look like is, and there's 2 different levels of which kind of arm holding you would like. I'm going to just tell the first one, and then I can also share the second one. So the first one is you get a private in-depth session. There's a little bit of prep work involved, and then there's also and so that session is about 90 minutes plus a little bit of prep work. So it's a very in-depth one. It goes into identity, your gifts, And then also from that session, I actually do an energetic drawing, and I show the way some of your divine energy flows through you, and the way that some of your gifts move, and like the way that I see it. So I'll get that drawing for you, and then I'll email it to you or send it in a message. So you get those two things. And then there's also an opportunity where you can have a message me, or you could also even do a Voxer like message. This is kind of in case of an emergency where it's just like, hey, help me right now. Can you take a look at this for me and tell me what you think? It could be about children, business, whatever it is. You can just like ask anything you need there. And then also there's going to be an additional session, like a remote session. And it may, because that's an intuitive one, it may include like a meditation, but it will include either notes or a recording of that additional session. So that right there is only $444. And that is available, like I said, for only 2 more people. If you would like even additional arm holding and even more resources, I kind of have taken that little offering there and added to it. And in fact, this higher one, let me tell you what this does. So you get the same kind of session with the prep work, that 90 minutes with the pre-work, but then also instead of just the basic drawing that I send out with the other one, I actually do these divine essence drawings and divine essence essential oil blends. Now, what this is this is not just a picture I do and you just get it in a message. This is something I actually create with different various art supplies, and then you actually get the picture and I mail it to you. I have one client that has gotten these for 4 years in a row, and they hang them on their wall, and each of them have kind of the basic energy. It's like taking your divine higher self and drawing it. And so it's that core, but then also in these 4 different drawings, it's been fascinating to have them have all of these 4. There's the constant message of who they are, but then there's elements that are very symbolic in the art and the drawing that show maybe what you're facing in your life and some clues and some guidance for whatever it is that you're facing. And it's like, for some reason, it's just captured in that energy drawing, but then there's the core of who they are in it as well. And then the oil blend, that's if you were to take you, the frequency of you, and to bottle it and to put it into something where you can smell it, taste it, feel the frequency, that's what that oil blend is. This is not just pulling up a book and going, oh, this oil, muscle testing an oil, and going, this oil means this. That's not what this is. I actually smell it, and I can smell and see the frequencies, and I make that match you. And yes, there's some information, like each of them hold almost personality things, but it's really cool to have the essence, the oil blend, because it kind of reminds you of that frequency of you. And then this also includes 2 reach outs where it's about anything, any time of day. I mean, I might be restricted on when I can respond to you if it's in the middle of the night or something, but you get 2 remote or the reach outs and just be like, hey, can you look at this energy? And we can go back and forth and talk and coach through something. And then it also still includes that remote session. And that one is $777. Now, I'm not posting these actually on the websites. I'm not advertising these because I've only got 2 more. I only had 4 total. There's only 2 more. You can either do the $444 or the $777 offer. And if you're interested, you got to private message me or private message the groups here, or you can email, or you can also comment in here and let me know and say, please message me for information, or please message me for session. And I will message you and we can talk about what that would look like for you, and which session, which package, and all that stuff. So it's just a very private, only offering to a couple people. So I'm hoping that this is, like I said, it just came 2 nights ago, and then yesterday morning I got the rest of the details, and it was like, yep, there's some people to serve here. And I wish I could help more people at this time, but there's between the memberships and these other projects and retreats and some other things I've got going on, and then my other clients, there's just kind of a limited number that I can take at a time. So this particular offering is only for 4 people to go over the next month, the next 4 or 5 weeks. So anyway, if you're interested, drop it below. If you are not interested, I love you still. Like, I love you if you are, I love you if you're not. Like, this is straight just because I want to serve at a whatever level that can help you the most. So I want to thank you all for watching today and watching the broadcast and being here. And you know, if you found value, if there's anyone that you would like to share these recordings with or this broadcast with, please do so. We always love reaching out and helping wherever we can. Let your friends know we're here on the page. And if you would like even more community, don't forget that we also have our free groups and our membership in the Intuition Gym. So happy to be here. Thanks everyone for watching. And I look forward to seeing you next time. So have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.